I'm Richard Fitzgerald. Hey guys, I'm Richard Fitzgerald. This is Dubai Works, where we interview the business leaders making a difference in this great city. I'm going to pick 4 stories I saw on Smashy Business this week, all about AI. So UAE is using AI to solve rental disputes. A UAE generative AI company, Lumi, has secured funding. We've seen UAE invest a lot in NVIDIA chips, and there's also an estimation that the global AI industry is going to reach 200 billion investment by the year 2025. So it's all AI at the moment in the startup investment world, and it's a busy summer where it's lots going on. This week's interview is about an events company. Our sister brand, Love in Dubai, are media partnerships for the Emirates Women's Run this year in November. And the company behind organising it is our guest this week. So enjoy the conversation. Welcome back to another episode of Dubai Works Business Podcast. Today we're joined by Dr Harmeek Singh. He's the founder of Plan B Group, regarded as one of the finest UAE's marketing and events companies, with an award-winning reputation for successfully delivering complex events, of which there's many variety in Dubai, so we'll hear all about that, especially for government and semi-government entities. Good morning, Dr Harmeek.
Good morning, Richard. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about Plan B.
Plan B is something that probably was formed in 2004. It's almost 19 years, and I can relive every moment of it. As what I have figured out, that Dubai, where probably Dubai has grown, and with it, people who have been here has grown as well. So it's been 19 years, and I've grown with Dubai.
Wow! So 19 years, and you've seen lots of changes in Dubai. But did it start at what it started out as, and what Plan B is today? How can you describe that?
See, the opportunities that probably I have figured out over here, it has been more than fair, and it is something probably what I can relate to. And I think people who are listening as well need to probably just see this, how it has been. So I came to this part of the world, and my first stint over here was my first employment, which was at 2,700 dirhams. And I worked for 10 months, and the way that probably I got into my entrepreneurial role was because I come from a background of an entrepreneur, and since then it's been history. So from 2,700 dirhams, today I have 8 companies over here.
8 companies?
Yeah, we have expanded in Saudi, we have expanded in Qatar, we got offices in Russia, in London, in Singapore. So I can't complain, and that's where probably I see the opportunities are meant to be if you are ready to work for it.
Mashallah. And so the first role that you came, was it in events, or how did it start off?
I come from a background which was very different from events. So I learned everything with a practical experience. And I'm a firm believer, degrees and all the kind of certification do help. But again, practical experience is something that probably takes what it makes it for you to probably make it. My first job was in printing industry. So I came in, and that's all I could get, because I don't bring anything as a background. So I was good at sales, so I got something as an opportunity, and I learned it. And from that, it was one step that probably leads to the other. So printing led me to production led me to exhibition led me to events to strategy, marketing, technology. So
you name it.
Yeah.
And so the 8 companies in Plan B Group, are they all events companies, or are they part of the ecosystem?
It's part of the ecosystem. So vertical wise, we have standalone verticals. We have events which is mass events, corporate events, but we have a boutique agency as well for events, where we have been managing events and brands like Bentley, brands which probably are creme de la creme, so very special. So it has got differentiation. We do not overlap. And that is what has helped. And this is what we also have learned pre-COVID. So we call it pre-COVID and post-COVID. So we are learned a lot with what we have done pre-COVID, but we adapted to post-COVID as well. So yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, yeah, can you tell us a little bit about it? So, we've had a few different guests on the show before from events companies, and as people, as consumers, they attend so many events in Dubai, from trade events in the World Trade Center or in Expo City, from consumer events in the Coca-Cola Arena, or corporate events in hotels and conferences and things like that. How would you describe the whole? Your offering? Do you do all of the above?
We don't do commercial events, so I am not into commercial events. We are into rather corporate and
What are commercial events?
commercial events that we do not do ticketed events. We do
Okay.
not do concerts. We do not get into where we are putting ourselves out for something that we are not known for. We are more with working hand in hand with strategies, working with government, working with key brands, working on the deliverables. So we are a thinking brand. We are a thinking group. Gone are the times. It used to be that probably an event was meant to be just probably a tick in the box. Now it's a story. Now it's got to have a kind of a deliverable. You need to understand that probably what is the objective, how do we reach to that, what are the KPIs. So it has evolved, and for us also, we work with very, very like a very focused mindset. What do we want to be? So we have got our sector for mass events. So we do corporate meets. We do work on exhibitions, exhibits. We work on strategies, which is not limited to an event, but a complete rollout model. So when we talk about a strategy, that would mean that probably it has got events, it's got activations, but it does not limit it to just one particular day. So yeah, it is also to do with that how we would like to be probably putting our brand or our partner to see that probably we are reaching to the end result.
Okay, and which was the sort of first event that you thought was sort of, when you started the business 19 years ago, that you thought, oh wow, this is a big professional event, and that you pulled it off?
I had like somehow we were working very closely with the entry level of international brands to come to this part of the world. One of the key brands that I still remember, and it was like something that I thought that probably I did really well, was Bonhams. Bonhams is world's number 2 after Christie's in the art fraternity. It's the auctioneers, the biggest in UK, Europe. So they wanted to venture out in UAE and in the Middle East. So we joined hands with them, and I struck a deal with all other contemporaries being around. But then again, we had the auctions. We had created a buzz for what Bonhams is. We had the first ever vintage car auction and vintage car kind of a gallery being showcased over here in the UAE. So that event itself changed a lot of perspective for ourselves as well on a self-belief perspective. This was post-2008 crisis. So 2009, 2010, when people were thinking what we should do, we were expanding. And at that point, when the new brands come along, then it only gave us a kind of a encouragement that we can rub shoulders with the best. And that event changed a lot for us.
Yeah, it's funny when you think about it. People who don't necessarily understand the history, the industry wouldn't know that an art auction is considered an event, and that everything that goes into it needs a specialist to pull it off.
Art auction is just not an auction. So what we had to be was, first we had to be certified as art handlers. So I had a team that probably was equipped, and then we were certified for that as well. Each piece was around $600,000 to $1.5 million. So it was about that. So we were responsible for that.
High end.
Planning it, how do we actually showcase so that it's a story when people come and what it is. So a 3-day event would mean that probably we are also responsible to target the right audience to be encouraged to come over there. So the guest list was also something that we managed from our end. Partially with Bonhams, and then we were also responsible to probably see that probably all the kind of exercises that is required for their requirements for having a proper auction, because it's a live auction that is happening over there as well. So 2 days would be probably bringing in the right audience, having collaborations with the banking sector, having financial sector to probably just come along and see if there's anybody who wants to have that. So it was a whole lot of learning for us, and it was a complete package. So it is not you come and there's an auction, there's a lot of hard work goes behind it. There's a lot of planning that requires to be done on that.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, these companies, especially when, as you said, when they're coming into the market, they won't have any of the on-ground expertise. But with things like, so on top of that, was that something that you became your forte, that size event or that type of event? And did you, look to pitch and propose and win business in, say, the more higher end corporate, like you mentioned Bentley and these types of brands? Is that what you got known for?
That's a sector that then we were trying to be associated with. So like it was the kind of high end brands, the brands that probably are the luxury and the super brands that we were. So we had a team that was working on that. But that is not the question. The question is that probably that gave us the kind of encouragement, the push that we are in a position to probably take over any event. The event sector, or maybe if you call it maybe as a project is not limited to what is a sector, what is the kind of classification of it. A project has to be tackled in the same way. So the ethos remain the same. It is to do with the fact that you understand what the brand requires. It may be probably a mass brand or it might be a luxury brand. And how do we roll out and how do we actually reach out to our destination on that? With that, there's a lot of other things. So we ventured into exhibitions. We worked on partnerships and collaborations. I took over the project for Crown Prince of Dubai's office, for Heritage Championship, and a lot of other key brands that we started working with. So yeah, it has been a complete revolution. Once you have a mindset that you can achieve a kind of a international event, then you look at it that probably, yes, you can do most of the things. And then the team expanded. We expanded on our own when 2009, 2010, it was a little bit of a slack period for everybody.
Yeah, interesting. And so when you say exhibitions, are we talking about exhibitions that have 10, 20,000 people coming through? Would one company look after that from a event management point of view?
No, we partnered up with exhibition organizers like DMG.
And Informa and people
Informa
like that.
and these people. And then we managed key brands, we managed pavilions, and then we were not limited to just production, but we were giving a turnkey solution to have the production. So a rollout model that probably we will also look at a B2B kind of an interaction with the right audience for the people who are exhibiting. Because why are they exhibiting? They're exhibiting because they would want to probably get their brand out. They would like to see if they have collaborations in this part of the world and businesses are happening. If business happens, then you will be having a repeat kind of feature.
Yeah, when we see, anyone who's been fortunate enough to go to the big, I was going to say consumer, but the big exhibitions in Dubai, say Arabian Travel Market, previously the Motor Show, all these big events, GITEX, etc. It's also always fascinating to me, how quickly everything's put together, and 1 week World Trade Center looks like one big showroom, and next week it's something else. But the magnitude of the pavilions, especially when Emirates have a pavilion there, or local brands like Etisalat and things like that. So I always wonder what goes behind it, and how do you pull that off? Do you have yes, there's a strategy and a storyboard and everything, but how do you actually physically do it? Do you have joinery teams? Do you have all these resources available to you?
So one of the companies that only takes care of joinery, we have 400 plus skilled people, and that team actually has been amongst the top 3. We have been putting out and churning out quality production and looking at things that probably have been done, superhuman effort, 24/7, and we have been capable. So today I can very proudly say 19 years and 0 accidents.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's actually good, and that's reassuring as a business owner that the practices that you have in place hasn't caused incident and things like that. That's actually pretty cool. And I was going to mention the team. So what you mentioned, turnkey, full service, means lots of different people in terms of creative people, strategy people, project managers, different skills. So how does that work? Do you have everyone on full time, and as your business grows, do you invest in different areas?
So pre-COVID, like I mentioned,
pre-COVID
everybody was full time, and we would like to probably just because we had multiple brands that we were managing and key brands that probably had budgets and things that we were roll out models. So we had pretty much everybody in-house, pretty much everybody full-time. But post-COVID, it has been with a core team, with traveling light, and looking at that when the projects are there. So we have a massive team that we can actually just probably have this put together. Last year, we won the beach soccer, Intercontinental Beach Soccer Championship, beach soccer and beach volleyball at Kite Beach. that was something, again, a head turner for us. And we had in-house teams plus the team that we had to put together to come as a team to put this out. And today I'm proud about the fact that what we did 12 years before, this was happening for so many years. I got from the FIFA president for beach soccer himself a compliment. This is the first time that this has happened to this professional level. And we will be in a position to probably announce this very soon about we acquiring the beach soccer FIFA World Cup that's happening in February in Dubai.
Oh, wow.
Already acquired by Plan B.
Sorry?
We have acquired the beach soccer World Cup, FIFA Beach Soccer World Cup happening in February with Plan B.
Oh, that's amazing. And when you say FIFA and president, there's a different presidents
For beach soccer.
Yeah, interesting. And, to that point, over the years, is it tempting to create your own IP, and is it tempting to do consumer events?
We have worked on that, and we are mindful about how, in the market scenario, anything that is stagnant would always crumble. So we are flowing, and we work and we adapt based on the market scenario. At this point, I feel that there's a few things that we also see. There's a gap in the market. And as an entrepreneur, we should always be keeping an eye open that what is the gap in the market. Once you know the gap in the market, you fill it and you're successful. So we see that few IPs that we're trying to create, which is going to be rolled out. It is under wraps. I can't speak much about it, but yes, we are looking to have our own IPs by end of this year launched for next year.
And that would be consumer events? Or
that is a mix. It's a consumer event, consumer events, mass events, and also something which is for corporates.
Okay. And so pre and post COVID, when you describe what happened in COVID, there was a lot of shift to remote events and production and online streaming and things like that. Did you jump to that, and then have you jumped back, or did you sort of wait it out a bit?
If I am still probably in this part of the world, that means I adapted, because everybody at that point was in a state of confusion. We did not know what has to happen. But then again, whatever that was coming, we had to be a part of that. So we learned it. For your information, there was the kind of disillusionment. Everybody was disillusioned to a part where nobody knew what was happening. The most hit was travel and events.
Right.
And we had cancellations like nobody else's business, and losses looking at. And as a big shop, we were also tempted. We were also probably cornered, backs to the wall, that probably we should probably just roll up and leave. But then again, that's where we put up our heads, and we saw that head above the water is very important. I was the crisis committee president for events industry over here for ILEA. So we made a lot of efforts to see if the industry could be afloat. 70% was hit. We learned with everybody else as well. So we were into digital events, we were online events, we were putting it together, and we had some good brands that we were managing it as well. So yeah, it was all adaptability. If you don't adapt, you're going to crumble. So we had the change and we adapted it.
And so, Dr. Harmeek, so now in 2023, mid-year, so we're into August, it does feel like the summer and Dubai in general has completely bounced back. It's as if, in terms of events and physical interactions, it's as if the pandemic never happened. It went to zero quite quickly, but it's actually bounced back a lot. Did you expect it to bounce back as fast as it has?
So I've had 2 recessions and 1 pandemic, and I've seen Dubai and UAE to bounce back, and I've seen it and how. So 2008, we had the real estate crumble, we had the global recession, all of that. We had seen that probably there was such a negative vibe. 2009, we were planning, and 2009 and 2010, I had started taking MR real estate and properties to 250 different locations globally, and we were selling like anything. So it is to see that how Dubai has embraced and has seen also the fact that probably we have marketed ourselves and being very proactive towards that. So we go down, but then again we bounce back very quickly. So
that EMR story, so you would do the sales exhibitions where the properties would sell?
Yes, we had taken them. Our first ones, I remember, was a very negative buzz in London. And I was there, and there was a lot of buzz that why should we go to Dubai? Because they had such a negative thing about that. And we turned it around. We had people to queue up outside the venue. We had people to actually just 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, which is like in the winter, to stand outside the queue to be the first to take a hand on a property from Dubai.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's
it was
a
the
good
marketing. It is to do with that how we have actually accepted and created a platform for a safe haven for investors, for people to come, and that's where it starts from.
That's fascinating. It's, you say it sort of naturally that those are the type of events, but when you think about events, we don't think of that story. We don't think of real estate in London, and I guess
Yes.
that's how Plan B is international, because you have clients doing set up activation things in other parts of the world.
Yes. So globally, we looked at it. I think world is just few lines, and again, business is a language that is understood by everybody, and that's what I see. Collaboration. People have started talking about it post COVID. I have been a keynote speaker for collaboration, because collaboration would always mean that is a sustainable model. We have more people to join in, we have more that we can achieve out of this as well. So we have collaborative partners globally, wherever, and we have been achieving success based on that too.
And your business model, some companies in this space, they've told me before that they work on project management fees. So everything that the cost of the infrastructure and say the pavilion and anything to do with the production is passed on to the client, and then the project management fees are your fees. So is that how you do it, or commercially, how does it work?
That's a rule of thumb when you talk about something that is an outsourced feature. So you have a kind of a costing plus your project manager fees. But then again, also there's a few other bits that we can add on to that. So like if I'm putting in a real estate or a rollout model, so I managed EMAR. I have launched most of the property launches, including the partnership between Manchester City and Aldar. In Manchester City Stadium itself, last year we did every rollout model for Aldar on that one. So we also put in that if we are bringing in clients and if you're putting in with our network, we also get a commission on that as well. So it is to do with that probably we work hand in hand to see the success of that one. So there is multiple models that we can put together. So taking away some of the weight of the financial side from the client, that they see that we are also shouldering up this and we can make our money with our efforts.
And the London and Manchester examples, if you don't have an office on the ground, is that what you mean by commission? You partner with someone there?
Collaborative. I have an office in London, but as we do not have most services over there, then we outsource that.
Yeah.
And then we project manage it. But then again, we're not setting it up. We're not just putting it up. It's not like you come and that's ready for you. We're also looking at it that what is required. So we require for people to probably have more data, people who might be interested in investing in Abu Dhabi, in UAE. So who are those people? How do we actually have them to be brought horse to the water and see that probably we are contributing to that. And if it is a hot lead and we can actually have a collaborative feature that we can get sales as well, why not?
And the types of events now that are in the industry, how have they changed over the years? The requests that you're getting, the RFPs and the things like that?
I think things have changed pre-COVID, and now is like, I think a lot of education has come towards when it comes down to from the client side. Earlier it used to be that probably people who were at the decision making and signatories and people who were marketing things, they had very top line understanding of what is required. Now I think it's it's a good thing as well, because when you're dealing with an educated lot, you can understand and you can explain as well. So events have gone down from I need the best and the biggest, from why should we do this and what is it that probably is going to make a difference. A lot of events now, static is something that probably is a thing of the past, so interactive is very important. You need to probably look at how we can probably interact with the audience. How do we have technology being embedded in it? So the language has changed. The experiences have changed. Things are moving very quickly with AI and with a lot of things that probably people expect it to be. So we have to be up with our research and look at it, that how we can adapt and what is it that probably we can do as a language. So things have changed with the clients being educated as well. And I think it's a thing that probably people, from my perspective as an entrepreneur, not an entrepreneur, as a freelancer, whatever, we need to be up with our game, with the fact that probably first of all, rigid means a wall, that probably it is or a tree that probably cannot actually just stand in front of very strong winds. It'll just break. So we need to adapt. We need to go with the flow, and that's what probably we need to probably do with our knowledge and looking at how things are changing so that we adapt it.
Yeah, interesting. And when I think of events in Dubai lately, they even get more impressive. Not just in the sort of AI and the activations, but visually they get stronger and stronger, and the production. Has that, in sort of 19 years, has that sort of enhanced a lot? The type of, sometimes there's drones exhibitions, there's lots of things like that. Are you providing those services around production as well?
Yes, we do. And
audio, visual and everything.
Audio, visual, everything. And we got limited resources on that, but we've got our partners. So we have got our project management team that probably works on what is going to be best suited for that. It's also to do with that even if you have a dish that has been prepared by someone, if the chef is looking over, that means the dish has been prepared as per the standards. So we have project management teams, limited resources on audiovisual, but then again, we do have in-house when we look at events from our perspective. But when it comes down to even outsourced partners are very strong with us. So we take turnkey on that and we project manage that.
Yeah. And have you seen, in terms of events, the industry in general, the digitalization of events, has a lot happened around ticketing and online platforms to buy tickets and things like that, and some apps. Sort of, there's companies that you can have the app with the agenda and all that type of stuff, but the physical part hasn't really been disrupted. How else have you seen digital sort of disrupt the industry?
I think digital has made a lot of impact in this part of the world. I've been a globe traveler. I see when I was just back home in London, like in London as well. I've visited events, I've seen events, but what we do over here has taken another level. When we talk about I remember from the old days, I have been a part of rugby sevens for past 17, 18 years now. I have been with MMI in Sirocco, working with all the key brands from hospitality of Heineken and everybody else. So from a ticketing perspective, from an RFID to come into play, from a QR code that probably gets you onto a menu, to probably have a service being provided to probably where you are, what you need to, and your timing that probably when you can pick it up. A lot of things have changed, and it's the experiences that have become more kind of user-friendly. People who have been like we all have been digitized right now. We all are known to the fact how technology and the association of getting it pretty much user-friendly, looking at convenience. So I think ticketing is one, but then again, experiences, having the ease of reaching out, having your seats looked upon, having your food orders, having your kind of the complete journey has been mapped out on digitalization. Your RFID becomes your wallet. Your QR code is your you just tap it and you get what you want, stuff like that. So I think it's easier, and I've seen that probably we are up for it. We are ready for it as well. We are an international kind of a unit over here. So we look at it that like what we used to do, say like last month as well, we don't want to repeat it. It's like the same thing that you're doing something for the first time. The second time you're going to do it better. The third time you're going to do it much better. So we're getting refined every time. And that's where standards have been, like bars have been raised, standards have been, everybody then picks it up. So anybody who doesn't pick up, then they lag. And that's what probably I think the ecosystem has been over here.
It definitely enhances the attendees' experience when those things are smooth. People really, it helps them plan, it helps them get the most out of the event, big or small. We're actually, with Love in Dubai, we're partnering with the Dubai Women's Run, and I believe that's an event that you're putting on, is it? So how do you, what are the things with sporting events? There's obviously, road closures and permits and things like that. Are they harder things to pull off than, say, a brand event in a hotel?
I think it is a rollout model. It's the knowledge. So road closures and everything else. I have been a part of the Athletics Federation. I am been a part of that for the last 15, 16 years. I was a strategy director as a first expat for UAE Athletic Federation as well, where we were looking at how do we roll out and get the youth to be a part of this as well. I think we are looking at the marathon, Dubai Marathon being the biggest and the richest run that probably is. I was a part of that for 14 years with Pace Events, supporting them. I learned a lot. I think with the road closures, it's easier because RTA, Dubai Police, they're all equipped. In Abu Dhabi as well, they're all equipped. We all know, and it's something probably has not been that difficult. Working out on that or a hotel event, I think everything is based on your knowledge. If you're doing it for the first time, it would be. But if you know how, it is the equal kind of a status that I would put this out.
So as someone who sort of puts the event on, do you ever feel that you have to sort of sell the benefit of an event in terms of, say, a brand, a sponsor or an advertiser? Or do you just feel it when you see everyone enjoying it?
It is definitely something that probably when you, like a product like Dubai Women's Run, it's something that probably is very close to what I believe. I'm very passionate about it. It's something that probably I am gung-ho about it. So I don't look at the financial or the commercial side of it, but then again, we have to, because the sustainable part is that we have to get sponsors. We have to have people to probably be a part of it. It is an ecosystem. We get money and we plow it back, even if we are not making any money out of it. So it is definitely, sponsors become a part of it and they're partners. We look at it how they benefit as well. We look at that how we can amplify a brand to go out. So it's an association, and we do definitely look at. So as Love in Dubai is coming on board as well, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. No, and that's the interesting thing. We always do media partnerships as a media company, but I see the work that goes into organizing events. So as a digital focused media company, we never run our own events, and I recognize it as a completely separate business.
Yes,
as it is. Right?
It is, yeah.
just like events companies who focus on that, say, don't do sort of digital streaming or media or whatever. But then everyone sort of gets the benefits of events when they're done well. Like when you see sponsorship of big sporting events or brand activations and things like that. And some companies, do you find in the corporate world that some companies will try and do some of the management themselves in terms of selecting a venue and things like that?
I didn't understand that one.
So, for example, say there's a global tech company running an event in Dubai, and they will pick TODA, the Theatre of Digital Art, as an event. At what point do they manage the event in terms of the, at what point do they sort of send out an RFP for services for management?
I think it needs to be from the beginning. It needs to be from the start. So if they are looking at doing an event in Dubai, they should probably start it with hiring an agency. It is something that as simple that if you're coming to a new place, a new location, you would not know where to go. So you put the destination on a GPRS. So that GPRS, the company, is the agency that you need to hire. So why reinvent the wheel? I think it is all based on the fact it has changed now. Earlier, it might not be, but now any agency that probably is over here, they get benefited from any international brand or any event that comes across, because the RFPs are flowing around, and this place has become like a buzz. Like it's a hub for international brands and international events to happen over here as well. Corporate meets, destination features happening over here as well. So I think we are all enjoying that at the moment, and agencies do get from the beginning that they become a part of it, from the venue recce, from looking at what's the kind of requirements, stuff like that. Look at COP28 this year. It has been like so many brands that probably are. We had a few of the key brands that probably were already reaching out to us and stuff, and that's how it is. Not now, but 9 months ago.
And what would they do? What does the reach out look like? Okay, is it completely blank sheet? Is it, okay, I have an ESG strategy in my company. I need to be visible when an environmental global event is happening in the UAE. The event is on for 1 or 2 weeks. I need an activation. Plan B, help me.
At times, it is as simple as that. At times, it is even more vague than what you just mentioned right now. We are here, and we would like to see what's happening, and we would like to probably be also doing that. So it is vague at times, but it is also very educated at times as well. So we do definitely look at providing the best solution for what is required, and then give options based on what we see on our market research on that particular sector. And that's how it is about the research, and the knowledge definitely helps. Novices or anything probably as a fresh start, we can actually just do an eye wash. But that's where probably we would probably be not long term. So today, if 19 glorious years that probably we could consider all ups and downs and whatever that has happened, I still consider that we have valued our partnerships and relationships. We've looked at, let's lose money, but let's not lose our clients or our partners. And we have had celebrating anniversaries. So like Rugby Sevens has been like 18 years. For Crown Prince of Dubai office for Heritage Championship, Fazza Championship, it has been 19 years, like 18, 19 years, yeah. So we've been working on long term. And that's what it helps, because retain your clients and then build on more, and word of mouth, and your credibility will increase. You can buy a shelf company, you can buy or get the best employees, but credibility is not on the shelf.
That's a good business advice, yeah. So with regards to sort of company structure with the events industry, were there any times where you took on investments? Do you work with banks? Like how do you manage capital?
It has been with the organization that we built 19 years ago. We have had a sustainable model. So till 2020, we had no banking facility that we had to be availing or whatever. So we had our own capital that we were working on. Now we are an educated lot post-COVID, so we still rotate whatever that we can. There's a thing that probably we need to look at. This, again, goes with any company, any agency. When we get major projects, we have to probably look at bid bonds, we have to look at bank securities to be given out. We have to invest till we get our advances, or at times there's no advances as well. So if you're not capable of doing that, then you are cut short of maybe taking up bigger projects. So we've kept ourselves backed by our own finances till date.
That must take a lot of sort of discipline as well with financial planning, and knowing. Sometimes I hear of in the sporting events companies who see an RFP and they don't have all the skills to do it, so they kind of stay out of it. But then that then slows their growth because they haven't got the ability to do something else, and another event company can get bigger and can do that work.
I think as the market sentiment is growing positive, I would see that probably the banking sector, private financial sector as well will come out, and that would help the industry for sure in a level that probably when we look at, we're cutting ourselves not only in UAE but regionally. It has had a growth from last year. My company, my Qatar office opened up last year, and we were fortunate enough to be a part of FIFA World Cup. So we did the 100 days to go, actually 99 days to go. So that event was, again, a revelation for us, and we worked towards a part where probably we do value the kind of RFPs and events, but we're also mindful about it. Yes, you're right, it limits a lot of times, but I think that the market is opening up regionally as well, and there are financial support that I see that would be probably available for smaller brands and brands that probably would like to probably jump and go on the other side.
And that's fascinating about Qatar. So do you judge your expansion and operations based on an opportunity around a specific event, or is it strategic? In other words, you identify a country or a city and you say, I'm going to sort of look for opportunity there and put resource there?
So it's a very valid question. So it's a lot of times when we discuss amongst the industry, a lot of times you might have heard a lot of people, oh, Saudi's booming, let's go to Saudi. Okay, yes, it's booming, but what? And what are you going to do about it? So we are known to the fact, till we do not know what we have to do over there, till we do not know that what is the expansion model, what is it that probably we are targeting over there, how do we actually just put ourselves out, are we going to get business or not? It's not about just opening a company or an office. It is to do with that, what is the plan? So business model, a plan, that is how we work. Our research is what we back it up. So it is not that Qatar we opened up 4 years back or like now or whatever. It was dependent on the fact that we already have worked with FIFA, we worked with few key brands, and after things have opened up, why would we not actually look at the market? And then we saw the market. There's a lot of opportunity over there.
And that's interesting. And then in terms of business development, do you approach your clients and other clients in the market around specific events? So do you say, hey, you're the sponsors of FIFA, would you like to do an activation?
It doesn't work like that. It is also to do with that as an overall marketing. And like I said, and I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, credibility. So even though we are in different countries, the region itself has got a lot of credibility. So people do their research and people know. And what we have done over here, as UAE and Dubai has marketed itself so well, so what we do also gets marketed. And in that way, when we are working with people who might be the same people that we worked in UAE or Dubai because they've moved to Saudi or maybe they worked in Qatar, our credibility follows us. And the way that we see we are going out, not for specifics, we get ourselves registered and looking at it, that probably we look at the kind of model that we would like to be and what are we champions on. So we try to target the market through those lowest hanging fruits and then create a bandwidth for ourselves.
So say COP28 obviously is big and Expo is big and there's many companies and vendors and suppliers involved. But say there's a sort of a one-off sort of 3-day event like the World Government Summit here, or recently in Qatar there was an economic event with Bloomberg, or in Saudi you have FII. Is that something that Plan B can do end to end?
Yes, we can do end to end. And we have positioned ourselves post-COVID to probably do end to end. We were doing those things previously. But then again, now as the landscape has changed and a lot of expertise that is required has changed as well. So we have equipped ourselves to based on looking at that we are capable of doing those end-to-ends. And yes, we are already in finalization of a few of them this season before Q4.
Okay, fascinating. And now that you mentioned Q4, it's, we're thankfully towards the end of the summer, and Q4 is always a very active period for events, for business. What do you have on the horizon? What are you looking forward to?
We're looking forward for the second edition of Intercontinental Beach Soccer and Beach Volleyball. That's going to happen in November. We already acquired the Beach Soccer FIFA World Cup. That's in February. So it's lined up. Rugby Sevens is there. We got Fazza Championship back again, which is going to be there. Dubai Women's Run is going to be a key feature for us. We are also in discussions, which I cannot talk about till we have a sign on the dotted line. But then again, our season looks very busy.
You're very busy indeed. And almost 20 years with Plan B in the business. Are you still as enthusiastic and passionate about it as you were at the start?
The day that the passion goes away, I'm going to be retiring then. It's a learning. I'm still a learner. And I see that probably there's so much that I learn every day, so much that I learn from this new generation, so much that I actually adapt. Otherwise, it's going to be such a boring place, right? And boring is not for me.
Boring is not for you. And this region, you're still positive about the outlook in the region?
I don't need to say anything. Look at the results.
Yeah.
When everybody's talking about every problem that they might have from the price rise, from oil to whatever, we're talking about progress. So we don't talk about things where we're trying to actually walk the talk. And that's what this country, this region, Dubai has done to me. And I think like Dubai.
Brilliant note to finish on, Dr. Harmeek. Thanks for telling your story, and we follow Plan B in the future.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Pleasure.
There's plenty of business people like out there who've been doing what they've been for about 20 years and constantly innovating, providing jobs, the backbone of the kind of SME industry of the country. So really pleasure to speak to him today. Thank you as always to Shahir and Ali, who put the show together and produced it, edited, distributed it. It goes up on smashy.tv on all our smartphone and smart TV apps. It also goes out on Apple, Angami, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to it. Do please leave a review. And then the team, Casey, Annika, Simran, they push it out on Love in Dubai as well. And it also gets cut up on our Smashy Business Instagram accounts. If you do like this and you want to consume other content like it and you speak Arabic, we have an Egyptian version of Dubai Works podcast now. It's called Cairo Works. So you can check that out. There's a couple of episodes by our team in our Cairo office. If you'd like to consume other Smashy content that isn't business, you can watch sports live from the UAE. We're just launching a new season, and by the time this episode goes out, there will be a special offer to subscribe and see all the UAE local sports of futsal, volleyball, handball, basketball for the season ahead, and you can get that on smashy.tv as well. We'll be back next week with a special episode for Emirati Women's Day, Do tune in then.